guys, we're going to do another scoop boot cooking lesson today, and this time it's on stretching your heel straps. So I have a size 2 here, and even the fitting boots were fitting a little snug on this horse, so I'm going to stretch these a bit. I actually measured from the inside of each rivet across, and on the 3 I was 85 millimeters wide, and on the 2 I was 80. So we're only talking 5 millimeters, and in case you're not up on metric, a pinky's width is about 10 millimeters. So you're talking, we're going to stretch this about half a pinky's width, not much. The other thing is, normally you have 2 boots, so you could put your 2 of the same size together and then compare before and after. Equipment you need: a heat gun. It does not have to be anything fancy. This one does have specific temperature settings, but I never use them. I just put it on high, and I think it sets it right about in the middle of the high setting. It's just an Ace Hardware, nothing special heat gun. You can get them on Amazon or any hardware store. You want to have gloves because you need to hold them in place until they cool off. So otherwise they're just going to shrink back to where they were. Okay, so let's get started. If I'm comparing to another boot, I usually stick something in the boot so that I know this is the boot I'm not stretching, because the last thing you want to do is stretch the wrong boot. This particular heat gun has just a power button, and then my low-high temperature, I'm just going to hit it on high. Okay, so I'm just going to start waving this heat gun back and forth. And I like to also spin it around and heat the inside just to get it really even. I'm avoiding the rivets because you don't want the area where the rivets are going through this stretch, when you're pulling on that and end up popping out the rivets or just making the holes loose or anything like that. Before I heat it up, the way I kind of test it, I'm trying to get an angle that you can see, is I kind of just push on the heel strap, and if it feels pretty stiff, I know I have more to go. Some people say watch for this to get shiny, but on a new boot it's already shiny, so I found it really hard to tell that way. I just kind of keep pushing until I feel this get pliable. If you feel it get sticky, you have gone too far. It's okay. I mean, you want to stop right away and let it cool off a little bit before you try stretching it if you feel like you've gone too far. Or if you see any visible signs of melting or bubbling, then you need to immediately stop. I have heard of people breaking heel straps stretching these. I honestly don't know how that happens because I feel like I really heat them quite a bit, and I've never felt close to doing that. I did get one get a little melty looking once, and I just let it sit before I stretched it. So you could probably tell this is getting kind of pliable now compared to this. It might be hard to see on film, but you can definitely feel a difference. So I'm just going to go a little bit more and try and get it so that they feel even, because usually you want to stretch them evenly, although you want to check, some horses will have pretty drastic difference between the medial and lateral heel bolts. So I think that's about done, and now I'm just going to stretch it. And you can see how easily that stretches. You're going to go a little more than you want the end result to be, because it will, it does kind of shrink back a little bit, but you can see it's remaining stretchy for a while. And you can kind of hold it next to your other boot to see how far you're going, but you can see already, I don't want to let go too long, but you can probably see, this is so hard to do on film, that there's already a difference between, those are the 2 same size boots. Sometimes I'll hold it next to this one and kind of line up the rivets of where I want it to be. I'm kind of pulling up a little bit too, just so we get a little bit more height. And then you just want to hold it there. When you feel like you're in about the right spot, you can dunk it in cold water or run it under cold running water to help it cool a little faster. I'm just going to use my sink here. so I don't have to get my whole hand wet. So I've got a little sink here. I'm just filling this with cold water. And you'll be able to kind of feel it cool. My gloves are going to get a little wet. So now, hopefully, this is the unstretched and this is the stretched. Oh, this is really hard to show on film. I'm just going to measure because I don't know if you're able to see that. So I've now got about 85 on the stretch one, which was the same as my 3. And you know, my unstretched one is about 80. So I've stretched this about 5 millimeters and it cooled off enough that it looks like it's holding. So, and the other nice thing is I feel like it softens it up a little bit. It's not as stiff as the new one. Even after it cools, it kind of holds its softness. So let's do the other one. Feel it get kind of cool. Okay, so they look pretty even. So again, we had 85. Let's see if this one is still 85. Yep, that one's still 85. So we know we kept our stretch there. And this one is 85. So a nice match. And really what a heat stretch will do is it's just doing what you normally do when you're using the boots. You know, as they break in, they're going to stretch on their own. But we'll do this when maybe a size 2 is a perfect fit everywhere except the heel. Then we just need to stretch the heel rather than sizing up and making the boot too big everywhere else. The other thing is if you start wearing them late in a trim cycle, it'll help do what would have been done had you started wearing them early in the trim cycle, which that's the ideal. Because these boots are smallest and stiffest when they're new, you want to try and start wearing them, putting them on your horse as soon as you get them, so that you know, you're putting the smallest boot on the smallest hoof, and then as the hoof is growing throughout the trim cycle, the boots will stretch nicely along with them. So that's it. Feel free to ask any questions. Either send to my Facebook group, Scoot Boot Adventures, or you can email me at timberlinetack@gmail.com. And that's all for today. Thanks. Bye.